Hi everybody. I thought it was important that we had some direct dialogue after the great news of acquiring the stadium a few weeks back. So a lot of you have come in with a load of questions, so we're going to take them through. A lot of them were obviously quite similar, but hopefully we'll get to the crux of it all. Okay, here's one. Now we own the stadium, what are the plans to increase revenue on both match day and non-match day, which ultimately means more money for the club? Well, we need to do that, and now that we're joined up with the arena, where obviously everybody's coming in for match days, the big critical thing is that the revenue we get from selling food and beverage in the concourses around the grounds will come directly to the football club. That wasn't the case before, so that's a massive deal. So there's a lot of other things that we want to improve and enhance and get the experience right of coming to the ground earlier, staying later, but we have to make that worthwhile and we have to make that a great experience. We just don't assume that's going to happen, but we're now joined up, which is fantastic, and we really want you to come here early, enjoy the atmosphere and spend your money with the football club. Are there any plans to improve the surrounding areas of the arena, including things like better walkways and signage? Obviously, I've been up here a few times, and as you know, and I've been around every sort of entrance in. The clarity is that some of these entrances are owned by the council, some of them are owned by the arena, but it doesn't really matter. We're all on one site, and we all want to make the experience where we want it. So yeah, we're looking at them all. I think first impressions matter when you come to a ground. Cleanliness, tidiness, smartness, all huge impacts. So yeah, we're looking at it all. Obviously, it's going to take some time for us to work it through, and we've got to work with the council as well on stuff that they actually run and own. So it isn't so straightforward, but look, we want to make things better, and that's the plan of action. What steps are being taken to improve the service in the concourse? At half-time, the queues are so long, I don't bother anymore. Yeah, that's disappointing. Obviously we're here to try and get what our customers want and make sure that they're served quickly and we can enhance our revenue. So yeah, we'll be looking at that. We've all been to the great stadiums, the bottom filling pints and Tottenham Hotspur, and it all goes with the newfangled equipment and gadgets to do things. So we're going to have to look at it all. Maybe there's some quick fixes we can get in there fast, but we want to enhance it and we want to make sure that everybody gets served, because it is obviously a very, very small break at half-time compared to other sports. What are the club's plans to make the stadium feel more like home, like removing phrases from the stadium or renaming the stands after club legends? In the deal, it was a complicated deal. The Frasers obviously owned the stadium for nearly 3 years. Their branding will stay, or a large part of it will stay for a period of time as part of the arrangement. There'll be some changes. The seats on the east stand will change. But gradually, yeah, we need to make it feel like home, and we need to personalize it, and we need to do it properly though. We can't just rush and put in things and it doesn't really feel quite right. We've got to take our time so that we don't redo it, rehash it, and gives us increase of cost in that respect. So we're on it. It's our home now, but let's just let it all unfold over the next few months to make sure we get the feel we want. Can we use the arena hall for pre-match fans village during the winter? I guess the quick answer to that is yes, we can. We need to set it up, and obviously, as you're aware, we do exhibitions, and sometimes there may be a clash. But the reality is, more often than not, we've got enough space. We just need to get our act together, communicate it, make sure we get people excited about it and utilising it, and that we don't go and put a great sort of situation on and then there aren't enough people sort of coming through to make it work. But look, in general, the fan experience is critical, and now we're in control of it for the first time ever, really. And so we want to get that right and get people to come early and stay late. Here's one here. Is there anything straight away that you're going to change for the upcoming match day against Norwich City on Saturday? Look, I think more broadly around the stadium, we want to take our time a little bit to get things right and not just rush up a load of stuff and then realise we haven't done the right things. But one thing we want to do is we want to encourage you to come here to the stadium and to spend your money with us. So effectively on that note, we're going to be trialling for this Saturday pints at £3.60 in the concourse and around the fan zones from when you get here, and get here 2 hours early, get here when you want, but come to our ground. And you know what, I know what goes on. I've been here a while. I know some alcohol finds its way onto the site that really ought not to. And I'm asking you not to do that. Come and spend your money with a football club. They're great value pints, great value food. Get here early, enjoy the experience. I think we're going to be close to 30,000, and let's see how that goes. But we want to keep it going, and we want you here, and we want you spending with the football club and not giving that income to somebody else, because we need it, and you need it for getting to where we want to get to. Can we have the free Wi-Fi in the stadium? The signal is poor, and it affects the match day experience. Yeah, I've been through that, and I've experienced it as well. I would say that the stadium's 20 years old, and I think it suffers from not being modernised at all in respect to how telecommunications have gone on and what people expect today. Particularly the bowl, actually. I think the exhibition centre, obviously, if you're having exhibitions and conferences, if you haven't got Wi-Fi, you don't have exhibitions and conferences. So I guess that's working there to some degree. In the bowl, I think it's been lost, and I think that's looking at numbers, sounds like a pretty big project. But look, we have to improve it, and we have to make it. The whole stadium needs to be, I guess, modernised and brought up to date, because it will be a huge part in us growing our revenues moving forward with other customers coming in, whichever way they're coming in on. They expect that sort of service, and we'll have to adhere to that. Can we improve post-match transport and safety for fans who rely on public transport? Obviously, we do the shuttle bus from the stadium and other areas around it into the stadium. The train station, we've had a look at that. Well, I haven't really looked at it. Other people have looked at it many times. Fraser's looked at it. Our COO, previous COO, looked at it. It looks tricky for us to resolve swiftly for a lot of reasons. But look, it's there. It's on our doorstep, and that's a logical route in for a lot of people. So we're going to look at it again. And I think with the club and the stadium together and what that may bring and our aspirations, then we've got to try and improve it. I mean, it was built here with that in mind. I know it came a bit late after the stadium was actually built itself. I think it came in 1 or 2 years afterwards, but obviously that was the intention, and it's not really appropriate that we don't use it. Otherwise, what's the point of building it? Can you clarify how the stadium acquisition was financed and whether it affects the club's long-term financial stability? Right, so running a championship football club is a challenge for a lot of reasons. The main one being that the actual championship itself is an unfair playing field, with the parachute payment clubs coming down and having more to spend, and therefore being more competitive, making it difficult for challengers such as us to get back to the top table. So what you tend to find is that the clubs are loss making. I've made it clear that we're running an operating loss. That's money in, money out, excluding what we do with players, of around somewhere between £7, can be as much as £8 million a year, which is a huge sort of undertaking. Now the stadium coming in will help us for sure, and it can help us a lot if we drive the revenues as to where we hope we might be able to get to, with diversified streams that people are aware of: concerts, exhibitions, the hotel. Utilising the ground more, getting it more days usage and sweating it a little bit more than it has been. The acquisition price, I don't go into the details of that. Traditionally, when you're buying a property, as you'll know, there'll be some equity and there'll probably be some debt. That tends to be how you finance assets, and I think you wouldn't be too far wrong if you think that's probably how this was structured. Now we're on to the transfer window related situation. I'm sure everybody's extremely interested to see what I'm going to say. So I'll say nothing. No, I didn't mean that. Right. So would you consider the summer transfer window a success? Did the purchase of the stadium impact our budgets for the transfer window? I would say that probably that question's being asked of every team in the Championship. I think the critical thing that we needed to do this summer was to retain our quality. And that was difficult because there were a lot of suitors for our top talent, and the club turned down significant offers for several players. It wanted those players for this season. We believe from the momentum we got from when the head coach came in November, and our performance putting us in the top 3-4 of the league over his tenure that time, that if we kept the core together and added prudently, wisely, and enhanced the first team, then that would really gel and not cause too much disruption that can stop your momentum as you go into a new season. So by and large, I think we did a pretty good deal. Now there's always things you could do a little bit differently or a little bit better, but by and large, I would say that we achieved a lot of what we did that we wanted to do. The stadium purchase didn't affect that. That's a slightly different financing structure. But overall, you know, I look at it back and I say, here we are, we've got what we go. The one thing I do like, actually, and this is a personal preference, I like a squad to be quite lean, not because we want options if people get injured and whatever, but it's a togetherness. It means that everybody's around it. Everybody who's at Brighton today has to be on it every day because they're going to be called on. And if your squad's a little bit too big, you've got to manage those who aren't quite making it, and it can distract a little bit from that pure focus that we need to get out of the league. So that's a personal preference. But by and large, I think I'm pretty happy with what we did. Who makes the final decisions on transfers, who to buy, who to sell, who to loan? The way we're set up is that myself, head of recruitment, Dean Austin, and the head coach, Frank Lampard, work extremely closely together. We have a team under Dean of around seven people, including Jamie Johnson, who's the assistant recruitment head, and we do a lot of research analysis on all the global leagues to identify players that are of interest. We then go deeper and get in front and talk to them, and they meet the head coach, and we do a marketing sort of get together, and we try and work out, you know, whether they'll suit what we want here, and we do a lot of analysis, because for us it's very important that a player coming to our club wants to come to our club. We don't want to drag you here, and if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. It's really important. It's a great club, and we want you to feel that and really want to come here. And occasionally there are some players we may like who may not see it the way we see it, so that's the way it will go. Ultimately, the head coach picks the team, he picks the squad, so ultimately he has to have a sign-off on every player coming to our football club. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And I'm really clear on that delineation of where those boundaries sit. But in general, it's a team effort. There's only 3 of us who are really doing the work with Dean's extended team and Frank's extended team, and hopefully we get more right than we get wrong. What are the key tasks and objectives required to deliver promotion to the Premier League? Promotion to the Premier League. Look, I think everybody can say it, but it doesn't mean much to say. I think we have to just do everything at the highest level we possibly can to get a squad and an environment together that is high performing. If you do that and you realize that you just can't go wantonly buying everything and possibly put your club at jeopardy through reckless financing, then that's the best that you can do at this time to try and achieve your goals. Will the club consider a ticket exchange scheme for season ticket holders who can't attend certain matches? Lots of other clubs do it, and it's important we fill out the stadium as much as possible to support the lads. I would totally agree with that. Obviously, what happens is we have significant season ticket holders here, which is absolutely fantastic. Of near on 24,000. We sell match day tickets, as you know. So the way we look at it is, if we can sell all our match day tickets, then effectively we will open the ticket exchange. But we can't open the ticket exchange until we've sold our match day tickets, if you see what I mean, because we still have capacity to sell ourselves. So our goal is really, now that we own the stadium, is we want to maximise, obviously, revenue on a match day, which may mean that the ticket pricing and where we pitch our refreshments, food and beverage, fan zone experience, they're all going to influence where we price point. So the ticket exchange for us, I would love to be open, because I know that some season ticket holders can't hit every game, and I'd like others to be able to come if the demand is there, and they can benefit in some way for putting them onto an exchange, and everybody wins. So we've done it before, last year, on a few occasions, and I'm hoping that we can get in a position to do it again as we move forward. Just something on some players now. Why are players not allowed to stop and sign autographs for fans after matches anymore? It's disappointing for younger supporters. Well, let's just take all the match day experience into one. The head coach is very clear that he wants the team and the squad extremely focused going into business, going into their match day. So we've changed the match day experience for them quite a lot. and how that is done. But certainly coming into the stadium, they're focused and they're not there to sign or do anything apart from focus on the job in hand. After the match, a couple of lounges, two of the players will come up and do a proper Q&A session, and that's been agreed, and that will happen over the course of the season. Thereafter, once the players have taken on sufficient nutrition, warmed down properly, and are leaving the stadium, there's nothing at all directive to stop them having a chat, having a selfie, having an autograph if you see them leaving with friends and family or however they're leaving the stadium. So that's absolutely fine. It's all pre-matches focus, post-match a bit of Q&A so we know what it felt like on the game, and at the end of it, if you catch them walking out, I'm sure they'll be great. The current ticketing system for away matches is broken. Fans buy tickets just to get points and then resell them. It's a closed shop and impossible to build points. Will the club fix this? We've had a discussion over this with the Supporters Forum recently. I would say that it's always ongoing as to how we look at this and how points work, and whether the ability to break into that away sort of travel and the away game experience. The data I've seen is that there were, at least I guess for probably 6 or 7 games last season, the ability to get hold of an away ticket. It wasn't gone when you came to your sort of part of the pyramid of how many points you had or where you were in the line. So there were some opportunities, but look, I have sympathy to respect the loyalty of fans who've built up over time, the support of the football club, a lot of that in difficult moments. I also have sympathy that people want to experience, younger fans particularly, what it's like to go to a great away game. So we need to get creative, we need to make it fair, and I think it's definitely on the cards that we will work through something that hopefully will be more palatable for everybody. How is your family coping with your rising public profile and the fact you own an established Championship football club? I would say, how are they coping with it? Well, last November was a tricky moment, and we know the reasons for that. And that tells you everything you need to know probably about public life. There's highs, there's lows, people disagree, they don't agree. I think, look, if you communicate well, you're transparent, you try and do your best you can do, you do it properly, then hopefully the public, and I do believe that actually the public know when things are being done in an appropriate way, and they respond in kind. So look, I think it's been a fun ride. I mean, let's not put it hasn't. We've been to some great places, we've been really close. We're improving the experience, we're improving our football club, and it needed improving. And we have high ambitions, and hopefully we're in a position to realise them, and I'm going to try and do everything I can to do that. And yeah, it's high public profile, but I guess that's the way it is. Can the club introduce a loyalty scheme, e.g. spend £100 in the club shop and get 20 points? I would say that we're looking at not just spending money in the club shop and getting points to go away games or for other benefits. We're looking at the stadium wide to see how well and better we can get fans to benefit from contributing to the revenues of all of the parts of our football club now. So I think that's an ongoing thing, but yeah, I hope that we will, over the course of the next 6, 9, 12 months, really start to get joined up and mean that if you're spending somewhere, you benefit somewhere else, and everything goes into the revenue for our football club, which obviously allows us to to survive with an operating loss nasty model, but make sure that we can grow and try and get out of the league and get to the top table of English football, which is obviously our ambition. That was just a snapshot of questions. A lot were obviously duplicated. Hopefully we've covered a lot of those in this Q&A session. Look, a lot's changed at Coventry in the last 3 years. As it continues to change, we'll communicate, we'll take advice, and we'll try and get things right, and we'll try and make this stadium not only our home, but a real positive, vibrant, revenue-generating business that can allow us to go up the leagues, because that's our goal. Football matters, and where we play, how we play is the critical thing, and we want to play at the top, and that's the goal. Thanks.